to the Newblood Championships, and another 8 machines about to duke it out for another spot in the Grand Finals. This should be fun. So let's check out the Battleboard and see the lineup. Lots of unique designs in this heat. Direwolf with the lifting and crushing jaws and flamethrower against the CO2 flipper tail of Hammerhead 2. Manhole Mauricio articulate machine with a front circular saw against Pestilence with a swinging arm saw. Roller, the roll cage machine with a CO2 flipper against the full body spinner of Mobius. And the crushing beak of Venom, almost like a smaller dollar store razor, against the spiked axe of Corrector. Let the wars begin! Direwolf, Control Bot. The design of the machine is very gorgeous, and the engineering of it is so complicated and jaw-dropping. The jaws not only close and breathe fire, which is bloody awesome by the way, a fire-breathing wolf, but the head can also tilt upwards, which pulls the front paws in to pick the opposition up and take it back to its den. That is absolutely brilliant, and I absolutely love it. Yes, it has exposed wheels and can't right itself, but who the bloody hell cares? This is the coolest robot we've ever had enter the arena. And I know I'm meant to be unbiased, but I really want this machine to do well. Hammerhead 2, Flipper. The front edge for great pushing power, while the rear tail serves as not only a flipper when right way up, but also a ramming spike when upside down. The 2 hammers on the side add to the damage factor while also adding to a ground clearance issue, and the exposed wheels don't help that factor either.
Robot ears, stand by.
Direwolf, with the clamping and flipping jaws and the inbuilt flamethrower, and Hammerhead 2 with the 2 side hammers and the rear CO2 flipping tail.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Can Hammerhead 2 outpush Direwolf, I wonder? Well, not based on that. Direwolf able to get around and lift up Hammerhead 2 and clamp a hold and push them towards the pin and down it! And that was over very fast! A very quick and decisive victory for Direwolf. Didn't really have to put up much of a fight, I don't think. Direwolf very quickly through, and Hammerhead 2 very quickly out. Commiserations to the Dutch machine as they crash out early in this competition. Direwolf, well done to them. They go through next to Manhole Maurice and Pestilence. Manhole Maurice, Spinner. They may be new to the competition, but they have 2 famous victories under its belt from Battle of the YouTubers on the main channel, where they beat both Hypnodisc and Raze before falling to Firestorm. The only articulate machine in the competition, which is something you don't often see in robot combat. The front circular saw is not really the most effective, but can still do some damage. But their wheels are exposed, and as we saw in Battle of the YouTubers, they can't self-right. Pestilence, Spinner. A basic box spot with a low front that makes it extremely hard to get underneath, with a swinging circular saw to slash into its victims to deliver a computer virus. That's what they say it'll do anyways. The speed of the machine is actually quite effective, and catching it is going to be tricky, but there is a seriously high ground clearance, and that could cost them.
Robot ears, stand by.
Manhole Maurice, the articulate machine with the front undercutter circular saw, and Pestilence with their little wedgelets and the swinging arm with its own circular saw attached.
3, 2, 1, activate.
I think this is going to be a case of speed, honestly, and Pestilence has Manhole Maurice beat that, dropping their weapon down. Doesn't seem to be doing any damage. In fact, in anything, it seems to be going between the 2 builds. Now it's striking the bottom body of Manhole Maurice, but doesn't seem to be really doing anything. Can Pestilence do anything else? Can Manhole Maurice get into the fight, I wonder? I think they're trying, but Pestilence is a lot stronger, has a better pushing drive than Manhole Maurice, and they're dropping their weapon down, but again, it's going between the two smaller bodies. And Pestilence playing near the spikes, and that's a problem, especially when the spikes go up. And now Pestilence is on. Oh, that's a bit unfortunate, isn't it? Look at this. The spikes come down, Pestilence comes away, slides away, and whoops, it slid into the pit. Well, that is a bit unfortunate for Pestilence. Honestly, they seemed quite on top, but they're in the pit, and Manhole Maurice, they go through. It is a shame, but they did drive themselves into it. It's technically their fault. Next up, Roller and Mobius. Roller. Flipper. A rather simple looking machine with a little flipper that does have quite a bit of power behind it. The roll cage on top also helps the machine not stay overturned. And there's actually a flipping panel underneath the machine to help push it away from walls if it's stuck on them. Not seen something like that before in Robot Wars, but while the roll cage helps the machine when it's up and over, it doesn't quite have the same effect with their flip on their side. Mobius! Spinner! The teams competed in Battleboard in the past, so they're entering our arena with some combat experience under their belt. The full body spinner, like all full body spinners, makes it extremely hard to hit and do anything really to it, and of course it's going to be very difficult to control. But what I really don't get is, why did you give it a skull on that color?
Roboteers, stand by.
Roller with their front little flipper and their roll cage, and Mobius, the full body spinner that had a worse performance than Roller. In fact, Roller here actually finished both of its fights stronger in the end. Mobius either got flipped over and out the arena or broke down. And Roller in serious trouble right off the bat here, and again, and Mobius. Well, I was about to say, what the hell was that that went flying past the screen? I was about to say Mobius seemed to be on top right now, and then they threw themselves down the pit. Well, that's one way of throwing it all down the drain, Mobius. Oh, what on? Well, whatever. Roller through. I really don't know what Mobius were thinking. Actually, I'm not even sure if they were thinking. They're out, Roller's through. Next up, Venom and Corrector. Venom Crusher. Yeah, we could very easily tell who inspired this design. You didn't need to inform us. It was blatantly obvious. Of course, this machine only has 2 wheels, as well as a very low, strong wedge with a strong crushing beak. The drive is also quite fast, almost as fast as Razor, but unlike Razor, there's no Shremek. Corrector! Axebot! A sloped wedge design with a 0-degree ground clearance armed with a spiked axe to pierce the armament with 2 rear spikes to deal extra damage. They claim that the axe has the power to help right the machine, but have also stated that the axe has actually flung off before when they fired it in testing, and aren't 100% certain they fixed that issue.
Roboteers, stand by.
Venom, the Razor-esque looking machine, with the crushing beak, no self-righted mechanism though. And Corrector, the 0-degree ground clearance all-round rear back spikes, and their spiked axe.
2, 1, activate.
And already getting air before you've even entered the battle. Yeah, that's smart. Corrector driving around and throwing themselves over. And Venom doesn't have to do much here, I guess. If Corrector can't drive in a straight line, and of course the screen once again decides to lag itself to oblivion. Could have been the one irritant I've had of this series. That. Anyway, Venom up and over and being pushed against the arena wall near the flame pit. Corrector holding them and dropping their axe down to try and do some extra damage. I'm not sure if it's overly working. They've thrown themselves into the air. I think your axe, Corrector, is a little bit too powerful at throwing Venom up and over again, and Corrector nearly in the pit, and now they're in it. Well, that's a problem for Corrector. They're in the pit. But we saw before they went into the pit of the main competition, and their axe had the power to get them out. There's the axe. Not out the pit. Can it fire again and get them out? We'll have to wait and see. Yes, it sends them out onto the wall and nearly out the arena, actually. Look at this. This is Corrector sliding out of control and into the pit. Ordinarily, that'd be the end, but Corrector's weapon can send them out, and if it had gone any higher, it would have gone out the arena. They're lucky they only ended up on the wall. They're very lucky. They're trying to use their axe again to deal with Venom. But I don't think Corrector has the greatest of drives, especially if they're going to reverse into the pit. Venom now falls down, and Corrector trying to get themselves out the pit again. Can they get out? They're firing their axe to try. Will we see them? I'm not sure if Venom's going to get the victory. Up and over goes Corrector again in the pits from their axe. Can they come out? No! They're stuck there. And cease is called! That's it! And the judges say Corrector are out! Well, that's such a shame for Corrector out of the competition via the judges. Venom, honestly, I think are just through by the skin of their teeth, probably. But they'll take the call from the judges. They're through. And this is how the second round of Heat 5 looks. The Flipper of Roller will be taking on the Control Bot of Direwolf. But first, it's the Articulate Machine Manhole Maurice against the Crushing Beak of Venom.
Robot ears, stand by.
Manhole Maurice, the Articulate Machine with the Undercutter Circular Saw. And Venom, the Razor-esque looking machine with the wedge and the crushing beak. This should be interesting.
2,
As well as a bit of a throwback to official Robot Wars Series 4 when Razor took on Millian Bug. Remember how that went? Millian Bug ended up wheelless and had its fringe burnt. Well, right now it seems that the Articulate Machine Manhole Maurice is getting somewhat revenge for that against Venom. But Venom's pushing back now and is showing the Articulate Machine who truly is boss. And how on earth did they survive that? Venom once again slamming in on Manhole Maurice, but the Circular Saw on Manhole Maurice can add up to damage, but I'm not sure if it's doing any real damage. And Venom, well, I'd say there wasn't a self-righting mechanism, but they can right themselves fairly easily from the looks of things. Bring the weapon down, rolls onto their back. So the two main wheels are touching the floor so they can throw themselves back into battle. And that seems to be helping them. Manhole Maurice getting another little strike. Venom, for some stupid reason, playing with the spike. And now colliding with the front of Manhole Maurice again to try and pierce through the beast's head. What exactly is Manhole Maurice? I don't really know. What? I'm guessing it's supposed to be an insect. What type of insect is it? Is it an ant? A termite? What is it? I have no idea. I have the same question about Millian Bug, truth be told. But whatever. Venom driving around and... What were you doing? Oh, you thrown that? That was so stupid. Look at this. Under no pressure. Like, what on earth were you doing, guys? You're just throwing yourselves down the pit for no reason.
You could have won this entire fight and gone through, but instead, it's Manhole Maurice who gets the victory. You after idiots.
Oh dear, oh dear. How many times have we seen that in the Robot Wars? I think a lot, actually. Venom's out, Manhole Maurice is through. Next up, Direwolf and Roller.
Roboteers, stand by.
Direwolf with the lifting, clamping jaws and the inbuilt flamethrower. And Roller with the roll cage and their flipper. And I think, truthfully, they're only really here because of Mobius's poor driving.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Go.
Can Roller make up for that, I wonder? Well, they're already underneath Direwolf, but now Direwolf underneath them to try and flip them over. I don't think it's really working. Roller slamming into Direwolf. Direwolf driving around. Can Direwolf do anything? They can try and flip Roller up and over, and it will get them points and almost have them on the side. Now that'll be something. If they can get Roller onto their side, that'll be it, because Roller has no Shremek from there, and they've rolled them up and over. Now they can right themselves from there. There's the flamethrower. That's the first time, I think, we've properly seen the flamethrower in action. Roller, once again, rolled up and over, and again, and pushed against the arena wall by Direwolf, because that's something that the roll cage cannot fix. If they're stuck up like that, they cannot roll themselves back over unless, well, I was about to say unless they use the flipper, and it looks like they have. And now Roller, under attack from Direwolf, who tries to use their unique design. I mentioned before how they can lift their entire body up. That's what they just tried to do. The first time we've seen that as well. And now Direwolf doing it again and throwing Roller up and over. And Roller has no way of coming back from that. They don't have any way of coming back from that on their side. I mentioned before, the roll cage works if they're rolled up and over, but if they're rolled onto their side, it is useless. And now Direwolf to deliver the finishing blow, to throw Roller down the pit like so. And that's the end of Roller down the pit and out. And it's Direwolf going through to the Heat 5 Newblood Heat Final to join Manhole Maurice. And a very strong and convincing victory that was. Well done, Direwolf, and commiserations to Roller. But we do hope to see Roller back again for Series 4. It's a very unique design. It seemed quite impressive, but sadly, this is where they crash out. It's Direwolf headed through to the Heat Final to face off against Manhole Maurice. And this should be interesting because Manhole Maurice is an articulate machine, and could that cause a little bit of problems for Direwolf, I wonder? Well, let's wait and see, shall we? The Heat Final with Manhole Maurice and Direwolf. Two beasts, really, well, one beast and an insect. Let's remind ourselves how they got here first. With Manhole Maurice taking on one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, Pestilence. Didn't have any real success there. This was their only lucky break. The spikes causing problems for Pestilence, and then they slid down into the pit. That was poor for them. And then Venom. And there were a couple moments, truth be told, where Manhole Maurice had them, but for the most part, it was Venom who was on top. Venom controlling them. Venom pressurizing them. And Manhole Maurice couldn't really do much, but once again, a bit of poor driving, and that was the end of Venom, and that's how Manhole Maurice got to the Heat Final. Direwolf, meanwhile,
didn't really have much to do against Hammerhead 2. That was basically the entire fight. Lured them over and down into the pit. That was the end of them. And then Roller rolled them up and over, which was basically what happened most of the fight. It was either that or pinning them against the wall or attempting to lift them over, but that was the kill shot, throwing them onto their sides. And with one final push from Direwolf, Roller were out.
Robot ears, stand by.
Manhole Maurice, the articulate machine with the Endercutter circular saw, and Direwolf with the lifting, flipping jaws and the flamethrower.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
This is actually the third heat final Manhole Maurice has been to. They made the heat final in the main competition, and they made the heat final in Battle of the YouTubers, so they have more experience here than Direwolf, but Direwolf right now giving them problems. There goes the flamethrower, and Direwolf lifting them onto the wall. And I think that's the end for Manhole Maurice, because they can't come back from that. They're up on the wall, they are immobilized, and Direwolf hoists them out! And they are gone! Well done, Direwolf! What a victory for them! Look at this! That's the charge that ended Manhole Maurice onto the arena wall! And then the final coup de grace, lifting them up and out of the arena. An impressive victory for Direwolf! And it's Direwolf heading through to the grand finals!
What a turnaround as Direwolf hoists Manhole Maurice out of the arena in spectacular fashion, and quick fashion too. Look forward to seeing how they do in the finals. But until then, take care, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.